morning, everybody. This is en route 0101. If you need to find me, we are. I always feel like we're in a simulation, right? And when you're in a simulation, there is a set of rules, like in a video game, and there is a environment. Whether you're in an environment, just think about when you're in Halo and you're like fighting around the rings with the aliens, and the environment's different, the planets are different. You gotta deal with the environment that you're in. You have to work through the environment that you're in. And while you're fighting to change things, you are in that environment. You are in that simulation at that moment, right? Well, this is why it's so easy to become carnal and to be in the flesh. And a lot of people, they don't understand what it actually means to be in the flesh. If you have never fasted before, you're probably very easily led by your flesh. If you have never, disciplined yourself, like without somebody telling you, you should do this or you should do that, you are probably someone that is in the flesh. If you are impulsive, if you do things because everybody else is doing it, you want to go with the flow, you don't want to stick out, you want to have fun, and that's great. That's not always a horrible thing, but the way that society goes about doing it is kind of like it's in excess. It's too much. The partying, the drinking, the hookup culture, just everything that we do to feel connected and to feel like we belong actually does the opposite. It makes us lost. It makes us become less of who we are because we're always trying to fit in. And see, people like me never had that luxury. I don't know why. My brain just wasn't hardwired. Like, I would try to fit in, it would just be literally awkward. Like, I would look like I was trying too hard. And so I just stopped trying because I didn't care anymore. I'm like, you know what? I'm not like everybody else, and that's okay. And the thing is that if you are like everybody else, then what's going on? Who are you? What it makes you individual? What makes you unique if you're just trying to fit on all the time, right? And I understand that society likes to whack the mole when they see something different. They want to smack it down and say, no, conform. But that is the problem. We allow ourselves to be that mole, and we stay inside of our hole, and we don't come out because we're too scared of getting whacked by society. We're too scared of showing where we're different. And I don't mean like different in the way that Lil Nas X is different. I mean different in the way that maybe you don't actually have to subscribe to that mainstream way of being, that excessive sexualized way of being. And we are inherently sexual beings, but sex is specifically for a sacred covenant of two souls being combined together. When you get married, you become one flesh, because it is you're creating a soul contract, and that's why people are so depressed and sad and confused, because you're mixing yourself with so many other souls without even having a proper commitment, so people create all these sexual soul ties with people who they have no idea who they are, who are are unhealed, who, you know, haven't found themselves, lost souls having intimate relationships with other lost souls, and, you know, more than once. You know, it's like Johnny has a girl every week, and then he doesn't understand why, you know, he doesn't feel fulfilled or lost, and he's always chasing the tail, but he's never chasing himself. And the same thing for Maria. We're just making up names here. I don't know these people. You know, maybe she's just she's just drinking too much every weekend, and she knows too many faces. They blur, you know, and she don't even know who she was with last week or this week or that week. And this is what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that these are bad people. It just means they're misguided. It just means they haven't found themselves. It means that they don't really know God the way that they should. And I know a lot of people are like, God, oh God, oh God. It's boring God stuff. But when you start to wake up and you start to see deeper and you start to realize that everything is much more than what we think it is. Things are much more spiritual than we think they are. You know, I never wanted to believe it, but then it was just like I kept waking up and having all of these crazy coincidences and crazy things were happening. And I couldn't quite understand what was going on until I started looking for God. Now, I gotta say this. I used to do tarot reading. The tarot cards. I had a YouTube channel. You know how all these tarot readers have YouTube channels. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I could do tarot cards. And I got really obsessed with the whole thing. But in doing those tarot cards, I started to learn more about God. And then I started to realize why I shouldn't be doing these tarot cards and why I shouldn't be listening to these tarot readers and why certain things were happening. And the thing is that a lot of people won't admit it, but when you know, depending on who you are, because everybody's in their own journey on their own time, I knew that I was going to be one of those tarot readers that blew up and made a shit ton of money. I could feel it. Like I had not even accumulated like 60 followers yet, and I had already made like $100, right? So I was like, ooh, you know, this is great. But then something happened, and I was convicted. Like bad things started happening. Like weird things started happening to me. Like specifically involved with the tarot. And as I went on, like people were like somewhat making me their god in a way, like, and it was uncomfortable actually, because it was just like, dude, I'm not God. I can't help I can't solve your issues, you know, just like that. It's a tarot reading, and then people, what they do is they make that tarot reading their focus, their God, even if the tarot reading is for them or not. They just, and the thing is that I understand why people go to those tarot readings, and I understand how some tarot readers, they really do have God. Not every tarot reader is bad, but at the time when I was doing tarot, I didn't know that much about God. I mean, I was like, I believe in God. God's cool, you know. I know there's a higher thing, specifically because of what I went through, but I didn't realize that tarot could be a portal or a gateway into allowing negative things into my life. I didn't know that at the time when I was doing it. But it was allowing negative things into my life. It was allowing negative people into my life. And it wasn't until I started, I threw all of my tarot stuff away. I threw all my crystals away. Like, literally way too much money that I spent on all this. And I studied, and I'm glad that I studied it. I'm glad, because I know so much about it now. Like, when people are talking about it, like, I know exactly what's going on. So in a way, it was good. I got educated. I know exactly what's going on. And in that way, I'm able to connect with people who are still on their journey. coming through towards the more spiritual and godly way of doing things. And the thing about it is that I'm not religious. Don't ask me what religion I am. I don't have a religion, okay? I have God, all right? I don't go to church. I am the church. The church is within me. And so as I go further on with this channel, I am going to be talking about things that maybe people have experienced that we don't really talk about a lot. But I'm going to wait to go in depth certain things. My point is that I got into something that was worldly and that I thought would do no harm. It was not a problem. But then when I started to actually get involved in it, I started to see the harm that it can do to other people. And I started to see why I shouldn't be dealing with this or subscribing to it unless I felt so directly led by my spirit to do so. So I stopped. And when I stopped, there was a big relief. But more so, a bunch of things started changing in my life. Like, so many things started changing in my life. And if I didn't do tarot, I'm not sure where I'd be right now, because it did lead me in a path. You know, it really opened my eyes. A tarot actually opened me up to God, in a sense. So I understand if, you know, some people are taking that route to get to God. But in a lot of ways, I was being carnal about it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, when you don't understand life and you're very young and naive, you know, all you want to do is make money and try to be as successful as possible and do all the things that you can. But then life happens, and then you realize, like, damn, like, you got to get your spiritual right. You got to get your energy right. You got to get, you know, who you are right before you can actually succeed in this world. Because, I mean, look at all the people that get famous and they end up on drugs and they end up dead. And, I mean, just look at people. Like, I mean, recently we lost Aaron Carter. You know, he got in way too young, no guidance. His family were devils, succubus devils, just waiting to be able to cash in on that insurance money or whatever they had going on. But they benefited from it, and no one got in trouble for his death, even though all the scenarios around it were sketchy. And that's the kind of shit that happens. I mean, look at Amanda Bynes, you know, look at Britney Spears, look at, you know, anybody that has been, look at Justin Bieber. Anybody that has been brought up in these industries before they actually know themselves, they get kind of screwy, you know? Even people that you think might have it together, even Selena Gomez is a mess. You know, Miley Cyrus had it too. She luckily had other people, her parents were in show business, so she didn't get the full brunt of what could have happened. But look at her, you know? All of these people, they came into fame at an age where how could one even know themselves? And so it's just like when you get too much success or too much money too soon, you blow it. You don't do the right thing with it because what? You're immature. You don't actually think about, oh, I should invest this into this way or whatever because one day I'm going to be this and that. No, you think about the now. You're like, I'm going to get a gold chain. What? I'm going to get a gold chain. And a lot of us are like that. I'm going to get the car. I'm going to get that Lambo and that, or that Bugatti or that Mercedes. What? And then we forget, like, oh, you know, there's other things to life. Like living, like maintaining, like creating generational wealth, you know? Like some of these people, these footballers, you hear about them going bankrupt or not really having that much because they spent all their money on, you know, drugs, money, and hoes. And it's just like, I mean, you know what I'm saying. They went out to the club. They threw a few, they threw 100K in the air. And that's the thing. Society praises that. You know how much of an ego trip that is when a guy is, throwing money in the air at a club and everybody's like, whoa, you're amazing. We love you. And then, and then it's over and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it again because I like the way that felt. But that is a carnal feeling. That's not actually a feeling from, you or from God or from your success. It's a, the society pumps you up because, you got it like that. And a lot of people, when you get that successful, you don't know who to trust anymore because everybody's so nice to you. Everybody's like, it's like, who's nice to you when you're at the bottom, right? And that's another thing, like relationships. One of the most important things in this world is the relationships you have and don't have, Sometimes you have people in your life, you think this is a good relationship. It's actually a detriment to your life. And that's why I cut a lot of people out because I could see it's not necessarily that they're bad people, but they were unhealed. And when you have too many unhealed people around you, they will bring you down because they haven't gone through their journey yet. They're not mature enough to see where they're messing up, whether it's through jealousy or sabotage or whatever the case might be. People need to go and figure shit out themselves. And that, my cutoff game is strong. Like, I don't care. I don't care if I'm alone. That's the thing. I'm like pretty much of a loner, lone wolf. I don't really care if I have company. Because I only want to be in the company of good people. I only want to be in the company of people that, are not going to make me feel bad because I don't want to drink, or because I don't want to do certain things, I can have a good time. I can have fun. But some people, they need too much to have fun. Like, they need... we have a lot of unhealthy fun in this society. And that's the thing, people always talk about, oh, that was so wholesome. Why don't we make society more wholesome? Because that's really what it's about, I think that when we're in the flesh, we're blind. When you're looking at that girl and you're thinking in between your legs and you can't think of anything other than that, you're in the flesh. And the thing is like, is that your wife? Is that your wife? Is that the woman that's going to lead you to success in the future? And what I mean by lead, I mean, behind every great man is a great woman. It's very difficult to try and be a successful man and not have a solid woman behind you, helping you out, caring for you, nurturing you, making sure that you live in a healthy environment. And the thing is a lot of men destroy that opportunity for themselves in women because they try to destroy her and they try to make her not live in a healthy environment. And the thing is that whatever you plant into the woman is what she's going to grow back to you. That's what she's going to give back to you, right? And so the battle of the sexes, it's not really a battle. It's that people don't understand the importance of the other. Women have this whole thing like men, we can do it ourselves. We don't need a woman, blah, 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 blah. And then a woman is just like, yeah, I can do it all myself. I don't need a man, blah, blah. But we don't understand where we actually are supposed to complement each other. We're supposed to make each other grow. We're supposed to make each other better. Neo and Trinity in the Matrix, when they touched at that moment, that made them stronger. You think you're strong now? Wait till you find your match. You'll be explosive, And so that's what a lot of people don't understand is that the who you are is also, you can be big and bad all by yourself. And when you find that one that lights you up, and you light each other up, my goodness, you guys are a force to be reckoned with. When they're talking about kingdom marriages, kingdom couples, a force to be reckoned with. It's especially when a woman has her covering, she can do a lot. But a lot of women are not covered, and men don't even know how to cover a woman. A lot of women have to act like a man because there is no man to be there to take care of her. And so men are like, she's masculine and this and that. But it's just like, well, you're feminine because you don't know how to properly take care of me. You bring out the masculinity in that woman. Ask yourself why. Right? You bring out, the femininity in that man. Ask yourself why. And the thing is that, listen, hormones are a very interesting thing. Sometimes men are more feminine, and sometimes women are more masculine, and sometimes that works, right? As long as everybody's hormones are in check and right, like, let's just make sure with the hormones being in check, everybody has healthy hormones. Some men are more feminine and some women are more masculine, and that really can work. That can be a whole thing. But the majority of the case is that it's the opposite. Men are masculine, women are feminine. And so, in understanding that, how can you as a man be more masculine? And how can you as a woman become more feminine? Well, it's about the people that you're around. It's about the life that you have. If you're struggling having to work 3 jobs as a woman, protect yourself, and you don't have anybody covering you, and you have to go walk yourself in the middle of the dark in some sketchy area, you're gonna be aggressive. You're gonna be like, ugh, you're gonna have your pepper spray ready, or your little whatever the heck ready, and you're not gonna be as feminine as you would if you felt safe, right?